Okay, so today we're learning about the triangle mid-segment theorem. What is a triangle mid-segment? It's actually this segment right here. And this segment is parallel to this one. And it also hits at the midpoint of each of these sides. So this length would then be the same as this because that's the midpoint. And then this length would be the same as this because it's the midpoint. And then in terms of math, what happens here is this length is double the length of the mid-segment. So if you're told that this length is 10, you just divide it by 2 to get the length of the mid-segment. Or if you had this length, you just times it by 2 to get the length of this side. So over here, we're going to look at a couple practice problems. They're very simple. This one shows the length of this side here. You would divide that by 2 to get x, 13. Right here. And then for number 8, it shows you the length of the mid-segment is 5, so then multiply that by 2 to get x, which would be 10. Then for 9 and 10, remember the mid-segment hits at the midpoint, so this side of the segment is the same length as this side, so x would just be 6 here. And then for number 10, again, this is the midpoint, so these are the same length, and x is 8. Cool. Probably like one of the easiest things we've learned all year. Okay, we're going to move over to 6.4 practice problems, so just like flip to 6.4. So find this page here. Okay, and this page right here, we're actually going to skip this first page, so just cross it out. And then we're just going to move over to this page. So, okay, so now we're here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it's clear. Okay, so these problems should look very familiar. They're just like the ones you just did. It says that D is a mid-segment, so this would be the midpoint of this segment here. These two parts are the same length, so x equals 6 here. For number 8, again, this is the midpoint. They're the same length, so x equals 8. And then here is asking for the length of the mid-segment, which is half of the length of this, so x equals 13. And then for 10, double this to get this length, which is 10. Obviously, that's very easy. On your homework, there's actually a couple that take it up one step because it's almost too easy. There are some like this, but another style of problem that you might see, we're going to just draw a triangle here. So draw a triangle like this. Then here's the mid-segment. And then this right here is going to be x plus 9. And then the mid-segment is 2x minus 3. So for this to solve it, remember this is half of the length of this, or 2 of these would equal this length. So we can do 2 times 2x minus 3 equals x plus 9 and solve it that way. So I'm going to distribute the 2 to both of those terms. And it comes out to x equals 5. Okay, so we're going to do one more like that just to practice. Actually, we're going to draw it off to the side over here. So for this one, it's going to look like this. Here's our triangle. The mid-segment. Then the length of the mid-segment is x minus 8. And then the length of this side is 35. Okay, so again, this is half of the length of this, or 2 of these would equal 35. So 2 times x minus 8 equals 35, and this is how we'll solve for x. That is all. On some of the homework questions, it'll ask you to just take x and like plug it back in for a segment, but I'm sure you can figure that out if you come across it. Okay, next section. All right, do you need me to stay? Good, just let me ready. Okay, I'll zoom out so that way if you're still covering the top part, you're good. Okay, the next section, it just puts more mid-segments in a triangle, which creates some interesting relationships. So here there are 3 mid-segments. So this mid-segment JL corresponds with this side over here. So these 2 lines are parallel. And then what also happens is, since these are all mid-segments, this would be the midpoint of this segment. So this is the same length as this. And then since this is twice the length of this segment, then this would just be that same length. Whatever that is. Then this mid-segment corresponds with this side right here, meaning that they're parallel. And then again, this hits at the midpoint, so this length is the same as this, and then this segment's the same because 2 of these would equal 1 of these, so it would work out that way. And then, as you may guess, this one corresponds with this one, and this length would be the same as this, and then the same as this. And now that we have it all color-coded, it makes it easy to answer the questions. Can you wait till after the lesson? Can you do the notes for this? Okay. JK is parallel to what? So I'm going to look at the picture. The color coding is going to help me out. JK is this purple line, and it's parallel to this purple line, so YZ. Then JL is the pink line. What is it parallel to? It's parallel to XZ. Then XY is this blue line, which would be parallel to KL. And then it asks about congruence, which we already have the congruence like labeled, which makes it easy. JY, this blue one, would be equal to JX. And also KL. And then JL, the pink segment, would be equal to XK and KZ. And for 16, JK is equal to YL and LZ. Okay, we're almost done. 17, we're just going to cross out because it didn't print well. And then 18 is where they try to make it a little bit higher level, where they put different concepts together. In this example, it's saying that a float in a parade goes a certain route. It says the parade float starts at point S, and then it goes up Walnut Street to Oak Street. It also says Oak Street is a mid-segment, so that means it hits at the midpoint right here. So this would be 0.9 miles, which is half of 1.8. And then it says the parade float goes down Oak Street to Maple Street. The length of the mid-segment would be half of this segment here, which would be 0.9. And then the problem in the description says that it goes back from down Maple Street to Spruce Street, which half of 0.9 would be 0.45. And then down Spruce Street, which would be 0.9. Or wait, not 0.9, 1.8. Like the whole length. Then it wants to know the total distance this float traveled. You would just add up the numbers, 0.9 plus 0.9 plus 0.45 plus 1 plus 1.8. And it comes out to 4.05 miles. That's just all. Okay, so you'll have the rest of class to work on the homework on Schoology. If you finish the homework on Schoology, work on Alex. We don't have the laptop, so you will have to use your phone. Yeah. Let me know if you have questions, though.